Welcome back to our Final Fantasy Origin walkthrough. In this episode we're going to be doing Warriors of Calamity at the Chaos Shrine. So let's get cracking on through. Grab these cubes and there is an item just here, so grab that as well. Let's push on forward. This is the final stage. We are becoming Chaos. After all that time of trying to hunt down Chaos and kill Chaos, we are now becoming Chaos. It's the only way. So let's jump on in. Nothing too crazy once again, just going to smash on flee. Jump on forward. And we're constantly in this, I can't remember what the mode is called. It's not Lightbringer, but it's kind of like Lightbringer. And we're constantly in that mode on this level. I'm going to whip on Utsusemi. We are rocking Ninja and White Mage as per usual. We've got Utsusemi to help us with these enemies. Obviously we don't have our allies on this stage, so we are solo. Although force of habit, I keep pressing left and right on the D-pad all the time, even though it's not doing anything whatsoever. Well, there we go. I would recommend popping to the smithy and stuff before jumping on in and maybe tweaking your gear a little bit. You know, setting some special abilities onto the weapons that you are interested in, like the break gauge. If you're interested in break gauge, or you know, magic damage up, strength up, hit points up, like whatever is relevant to your build really. For me, I've gone for a lot of break gauge, so we tend to do quite a lot of break damage, especially when we are fighting solo like this. I prefer to focus more on doing break damage. So for that, I just use the mace. Usually go for the aftershock, so we're going to jump on in. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, and then 1, 2, 3. So that particular wombo combo there just does so much break damage. It also keeps the enemy stunned, so it kind of keeps them from doing whatever, casting spells on you and stuff like that. Divine, flee, magic regen. Let's push on forward. I'm not sure if this timer is actually going to affect us or not, so I'm just going to hang fire a second. It is, so I'm glad that we waited. It's going to pop some Curaga and a potion. That'll do. Push on. I'm just going to check these barrels real quick. All good. Basically on this stage we pretty much just push through the main level like we normally would really, which we did. I think it was the first level of the game, the Chaos Shrine. Can grab some bits and bobs over there. If you want to take out those flans, I'm just going to go ahead and completely skip them. There's not really much point in fighting them. There might be some decent gear knocking about, so keep your eyes peeled for treasure chests and all that good stuff. We're just going to push on forward. I think this bit can get a little bit spicy. Obviously it's trickier because you're fighting solo. And you normally would fight with a team. 1, 2, 3. Just gone for Stormbreaker, but I'll take it. So yeah, the mace in general does a lot of break damage. I've set it up so that there's the abilities that are kind of in the mace are mostly revolved around break damage. So as you can see, like we're not really doing a massive amount of health damage, but we're doing a massive amount of break damage to the enemies. So that specifically helps because we're fighting solo, so we don't have to sit there and, you know, delete the health bar. We can just sit there and take out the break bar instead. It just makes things like insanely easier basically, so that's why we do that. We're going to Utsusemi up, Divine, Flee, Magic Regen. The Holy Trinity of abilities there. You can grab some lore info from these little nodes if you are interested. Let's push on forward. Up these stairs and we'll follow this around. I don't think this level is too long, to be totally fair. And I think we could have actually just gone up these ladders that was there before originally and completely skipped that section, but got some good gear and some experience points for it, so you know, why not? And the lore collectibles as well. So that is that. We'll push forward. Although saying that, I might skip some enemies here. I don't really need to fight them all, to be fair. Skip on through. We'll go for the... Oh, we actually have infinite MP, which I've not realised until right now. So that's what that effect is. Infinite MP. So feel free to spam your abilities like flee or whatever. You could technically just flee all the way through if you wanted to, without ever having to actually stop and fight too much stuff, because I think you can... There's not too many roadblocks as far as memory serves. You can just smash straight through. Collectible there. A little bit of story. Then we hang a right. I'll skip straight past. Grab the cubes. That should be fine. In fact, we probably should check the battle settings, because I've not really checked those for a little while. So some of the stuff that I've applied on the gear might have actually just worn off because we switched some gear, but it's fine. Divine Flee. Magic Regen. So we're going to rush on through, past here. If you are in need of some extra like levels up and stuff like that, you could you could grind all these enemies for a little while and get some extra EXP for your jobs and stuff. I don't think there's much really knocking about. It's mainly just story stuff. I'll just check over here. I think there might be a Tonberry. Just a Mind Flayer. Actually, just leave the Mind Flayer as well. Our jobs are already like level 30, so we don't really need a massive amount of EXP. But yeah, if you did need some EXP, I definitely would spend the time fighting all the enemies here and all that good stuff. Let's head on inside the doors. Alright, so let's jump into the boss fight. We want to make sure we've got Utsusemi applied. And a lot of the time with this fight, we're basically soul shielding something and then sending it back for the most part. So if you just get up close and personal, you can just back up. You don't really want to be directly in front of him, you want to be kind of behind. So if he comes at you with an attack, you can just attack a few times in the back. Earthquake, you want to back up, not be close at all. Soul Shield, all of the purple type attacks. Does some good break damage. Want to be casting some stuff on ourselves. Go for haste. Just keep in mind at this point that you don't have a party, so you don't have to cast the highest level of the spell if you don't want to. Just the first level is usually quite fine. So we're kind of like dodging around at the sides, making sure that we're not directly in front. A couple of attacks at a time. So usually follows up with like a kick or a punch, so just a couple of strikes like that. Soul Shield, when you see the purple, just keep on dodging around. Is to pop Utsusemi back on. Soul Shield, cast it back. Earthquake, I'm going to back up. It kind of hits it twice for Earthquake. Let's attack in the back. Furious Flame, once again, just grab it and cast it back. Keep on dodging around like that. A couple of attacks in the back. We ideally could do with like Regenga, or at least regen on like that. So, feel free to back up and cast your bits and bobs. Soul Shield that. Cast it back. Does that one twice. Soul Shield, cast it back. If he jumps, just head behind him, just pop him in the back a few times. Keep on dodging around. Furious Flame. Absorb it, cast it back. So keep on dodging around. Whirlwind. This one's a bit spicy because there's 3 of them. Or maybe there's slightly more, but I think there's 3 or 4. Utsusemi up. Soul Shield, cast it back. For the most part, that's pretty much, most of the fight. Keep on top of your regen, and you can use like protect, all that good stuff. Earthquake, it's 1 and 2. Does that twice. I soul shielded that so I could basically like get some MP back. So I'm going to cast Protect, back up a little bit, and hopefully Haste if I can get it. Yep. Furious Flame, you just absorb it, cast it back, absorb that one twice, although we missed it. It's a bit of a spicy meatball. You can Soul Shield it, you can technically just block as well. Just grab that, cast it back. So we could potion or regen ourselves. Make sure you've got enough MP to cast your stuff. The Soul Shield, cast it back. Just dodge out of the way of that one. I'm going to Utsusemi back up. Soul Shield, cast it back. So you'll notice that I'm keeping like a little bit of distance. If you keep some distance, it usually forces him to use the purple type abilities. If you're up close and personal, he tends to do more like melee stuff. So I'm going to use this chance to Utsusemi up. And then we'll phase transition over to phase 2. So that is that. Quite similar. Just gets a bit more sort of like hyper aggressive in this phase. So we want to be regenerating up. Sort of like dodging around a lot. I think we get infinite MP at this point. So you can Divine Siege or you can flee. Technically speaking, you can just cast like loads of Dire because you've got so much MP. You can just keep on casting really. Just keep your distance. Casting flee so we can avoid those attacks a little bit easier, so a little bit faster as we're kind of like running around. It's also weak to Dire as well. So some of those attacks are coming up weak, or maybe we're just hitting a weak spot there actually. But either way, we'll just keep on running. Potion up. Get out of the way for Chaos. Pop your regen back on, Protect. Shell, all that good stuff. Utsusemi as well. Back to Dire. Keep on running, make sure flee is on. There we go. Then when you get a chance, just whip out the Dire. Back up. So some of those are coming up weak there. Keep on running. Make sure you got flee on, make sure you got Utsusemi. Utsusemi is running a little bit low. Should be fine. Keep on dodging around. You'll notice that I'm kind of like just dodging around the arena, like around the sort of outer edges as such. Like so. We don't have to worry about stamina, we don't have a stamina bar in this game, so we can just dodge literally as many times as we want to. Just keep on spamming around like that. Flee back on, keep on spamming. Cast your Dire. Keep on spamming dodge. Sometimes you get caught on stuff, like we just got caught there, but it's fine. Especially if you got Utsusemi on, it's kind of a lifesaver, so if you do get hit, obviously the shadow takes the hit instead of you. And that is that. So yeah, Ninja and White Mage there, coming in strong. With the Dire spell, obviously you can regen yourself, you can protect yourself, you can cast Shell on yourself. You've got Utsusemi to cast your shadows to take the damage for you. And just keep on going around the edge of the arena. And that is the end of the game. Feel free to let me know in the comments what you thought of Final Fantasy Origin. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.